Here's a cool verse right here. Then said Solomon, the Lord hath said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. And that was the Holy of Holies. Okay, it was totally dark. It was totally dark, and the high priest only went in there once a year and sprinkled blood on the mercy seat, and then blood scribe, right? He looked into the holy seat right there. And this is blood scribe, right, in the Bible. This is some of the stuff I learned from them. So it's kind of like when you do a sigil evocation, like I showed you, but you just trance out on the blood. It's called blood scrying. I don't know if you used to watch that show, Supernatural, but, you remember when the demons would would cut somebody's throat, and that's how they would communicate. It's kind of like the same thing as blood scrying. And then there was the outer sanctuary. Okay, I don't have a temple diagram. I might have one. Let's look at it. Let's see if I got it. Here's a cool one right here. So, he said the Lord would dwell in the thick darkness. Alright, so that was the Holy of Holies. That's where the cherubim were, the Ark of the Covenant, and the high priest would go in there, one time every year on the Day of Atonement, and he would sprinkle the blood on the mercy seat, and they would tie, a string to him, in case he died in there, so they could pull him back out again. But this is where the priests used to operate at, okay? And then only once a year they would go into the darkness. But keep in mind, I don't know if you saw the videos I did on like the feast days and stuff, like when I was talking about consciousness, because let's see what I got here. There's the altar right there. There's the sea, the brazen sea. That might could be where she comes into, because of all the sea goddesses and all that, like Leviathan or the sea gods. But I don't know if you watched all my videos on the feast days and stuff, and on consciousness, how like consciousness goes beyond time. Okay, so I mean these days were never really meant to be kept literal. Okay, I mean this is just stuff that happens in the spirit. This is the way I always taught it. And consciousness starts out in a big circle. Okay, that's the way I always used to teach it. And then as you raise up in consciousness, this circle, starts getting smaller, and that, things are happening, every day, whereas to like just once a year, okay? Instead of just going in there like once a year, and your body is the temple, right? That's in 1 Corinthians. Ye are the temple of the Lord. All right, so as we're going through these feast days, we want to speed them up and get them happening like probably 7 days a week, right? I think there's 7 Jewish holidays throughout the year, but we probably want to have one, happening spiritually in our spiritual temple, one every day a week. All right, but that's where the priests, mainly used to operate at. It shows all the candlestands. Is that the table of showbread, or I think it is, and that's the altar of incense. I keep going back and forth on this, like, man, should I be burning incense or not? It really zoomed in that time. Yeah, there's the showbread table. Yeah. There's the candlesticks, the lampstands, which are the 7 churches, right? It tells you that in the book of Revelation. It really doesn't go into these two. I always go back to that verse on incense, where Isaiah says, your incense is an abomination unto me, and then the book of Revelation, explains that, incense is the prayers of the saints. I think it's in the book of Revelation. Anyways, there you go. That's the idea, is to keep all this operating, finely tuned. Okay. So, and where, I started getting into this earlier. I'll look this up and I'll tell you guys where I think you come in. You guys are the singers. All right. Because there were singers in the temple. Okay. Let's look them up.